What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros. We've got a great show lined up for you guys today because it's not just going to be me and T-Shroom. As the thumbnail suggests, Rob from Sin City Crypto will be joining the show. And, we had a lot to talk about today because it's been a volatile day here in crypto. After Bitcoin touched 53,000, a very significant level that we've actually been talking about here on the Investing Bros channel. Ethereum touched all the way to 3,000. We had a massive drop in price action, not a crash, just a drop in price action of cryptos. We saw the Bitcoin dominance begin to climb again, but now things are starting to see a little bit of a bounce. We've seen a lot of support get touched here recently. We're going to be talking about what just happened in the crypto space and also getting Rob's opinion on what coins and cryptos are the best investments right now. That's inspired by an article we were looking at today. A lot of opinion pieces coming out in the news. Well, we're going to give you some of our opinions on some of those best investments. Make sure to go ahead and stick around for the entire video to get that alpha. But before we get there, I do got to introduce my co-host for the show. That is Mr. T-Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T-Shroom, how are you feeling today?
Well, Tim, I'm feeling better than I deserve. And I think a lot of folks might be a bit surprised to hear that, but it's true. I'm feeling better than I deserve. I got my daily bike ride in. I've been going on a bike ride every single day. It's really nice. And today Amanda got to go with me. So I'm on Cloud 9, Tim. And I've got an excellent quote here for us. I think you'll enjoy this one, Tim. It's from Frank Sinatra. He said, "Las Vegas is the only place I know where money really talks. It says goodbye."
That's not a bad quote. When Rob comes on, we'll have to get his opinion of that quote as well, because that's a pretty good one. That is a good one, I will say, for sure.
Pretty great. How's your day going, man?
I feel like I've been productive. I did literally right before going live. I don't know what. My stomach is not feeling tops. I'll be honest with you guys. But that doesn't mean that the show is going to end. The show must go on.
It's true.
And again, I'm very excited to get Rob on here in just a couple of minutes. Before he does come on, though, let's head over to those charts, T-Shirt, and let's see what's happening in the world of crypto. Now, we're going to start off here on Bitcoin. We will talk about Ethereum. I did make an Ethereum price prediction video, more longer term, not necessarily like months, but weeks for Ethereum. Went out today at noon Eastern Standard Time. Make sure after the live stream is over, go check that out if you're interested in my price prediction for Ethereum in the next couple of weeks. But let's start off with Bitcoin here. Touched the level perfectly. Now, it's hard to tell, but when you scan over this white candle right here and you look in that top left corner, the high here on Coinbase is 53000.00. So it literally down to the cent went to $53,000 here on Coinbase for Bitcoin. Now, this is, of course, what we talked about before. Again, we did this TA just a couple of days ago. If you look at our fixed range volume profile, since pretty much a majority of the bulk of the bull market down to the bear market, that 53,000 was right there squarely in the gap. Now, we've only pulled down, it wasn't even that significant of a pullback, really. Let's see what the exact pullback has been today on Bitcoin. I think it's going to be something like maybe 2%. Oh, it was a little more. Okay. It pulled back 4%. Ethereum didn't even pull back 4%. We have a nice little 4% pullback. We've bounced back up. We're setting a little bit of a doji candle at the moment, an indecision candle. We still have some hours, though, before the daily candle closes. What I will say, and I've been listening to some other technical analysts, and I think I saw this at least from, who did I see this from? I want to give them credit, but I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. I don't remember. But it was the weekly chart. The weekly chart is giving us a little bit of bearish divergence. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, let's see if the MACD has divergence on this as well. Not necessarily the MACD. It's just the RSI. And it's going to be a little hard to see. But you will see during this time period here on the weekly chart, the RSI has set a lower high. If this RSI does not keep climbing, which it could adjust, we had a good amount of days left before the weekly chart is done. But if we do not close and the RSI does not keep moving to the upside, we are in danger here on the weekly chart of setting up some bearish divergence. That's not what the bulls want to see here. And the reason I'm bringing that to attention, even though I still think there's a chance, 57 still looking juicy. There's 60,000. The concept of hitting a new all-time high before halving is not over. But we did speak pretty significantly about this level of 53. And so the fact that we're getting to a pretty significant level on the fixed range volume, the fact that we are getting a bearish divergence out on the weekly chart, something we have not had bearish divergence on the weekly chart since, let's go back and see when was the last time we got bearish divergence. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, go ahead and just, I don't want replay. I don't want any of this. The last time we had weekly bearish divergence was, of course, back here in June, and we had a nice pullback of a whopping 21% when that happened. So you want to be prepared for these bearish divergences on these larger time frames. But for right now, there still is a couple more days here. We have all the way to, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday until we actually have to look at that RSI level and say, all right, do we actually have bearish divergence or do we not? Let's see what ALGO is saying here, even on the daily chart. Again, reason to be optimistic. We're still climbing up here. We still have our take profit coming in as low as 54. It actually be adjusted here for ALGO. 54,800 up to about 57,900. Of course, if we were to zoom out, taking a look at that fixed range volume, is going to reload for us. Yeah, we're looking, that level is going to be the next peak in the fixed range volume profile. So keep an eye on that if the bulls take back control. If they do not, though, and again, here's what we're looking at. We're seeing some resistance be hit on the weekly chart. We're seeing bearish divergence start to form. We are 100% overbought. And when this happens, traditionally, we at least start to trade sideways for a little bit. That's what you've seen historically here on the daily chart. So let's continue to keep an eye out for that. You see the daily chart MACD is rounding off. You do see here, even on our Lux Algo oscillator, the oscillator started to move to the downside. The money flow is still above the bullish threshold with excessive buyers, but you're seeing it move sideways. So what does that mean? The bulls have come to a little bit of a standstill, definitely on that weekly chart. Here on the daily chart, I'm assuming we're going to see it actually slightly move to the downside on the 4-hour chart. Yes, it is. Money flow is going red below the bearish threshold. So we're going to need to see a lot of this flip. I will say all of these things combined are starting to lean towards a direction of 53 might have been a temporary top at the least, and we could see a little bit of a pullback coming in the next couple of weeks. But we still have to get some confirmation before we can make that call for certain. Let's take a look real quick at Ethereum. Before I do that, T-Shroom, any thoughts you have about Bitcoin? Anything you want to chime in? I don't want to not let you give a take. Are you bullish or bearish or neutral right now on Bitcoin?
I think that Bitcoin has found a new little buy zone here just below 51.2. I'm not seeing Bitcoin really give up too much ground below that, right? So it'll be interesting to see if we get another pullback down to those levels, just how eagerly the bulls come out. What I will say is we got a candle body close, not just a wick to 53. Well, we only got the wick to 53, but we got a candle body close that made a new 2024 high for candle body closes. So that is significant to me. Mm-hmm. I'm on the 2-hour. So that's
I think it's pretty. I think that's the same close for the 4-hour, which is a little more significant, but at the same time, that's good. That same close.
It's not
up here. I'm looking at Ethereum. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
You're good.
So for the 2-hour, that candle body close is impressive, right? Now, I'm not going to come out and say that that's the end all be all. Like you just dump the rest of your dry powder in here. I think that there really should be a pullback. Now, the technicals and a lot of what I'm reading fundamentally are kind of saying to the contrary of that. But my hunch, my knowledge of crypto, my memory of the markets definitely tells me that a pullback really should be on the menu here.
Yeah, I'm still before we move on to Ethereum, because that's a good point right there. I still am looking though, T-Shroom. We do have order blocks and take profit here on the 4-hour chart down as low as 48. The reason that's significant is because we go over to high block and we look up BTC on the 7-day. Let's get this. Did I not hit BTC? All right, that was just a waste of 3 seconds. I deeply apologize that you guys had to delay those 3 seconds. It's the worst.
We'll talk about it after the stream.
I know, for real. We still have some liquidations that come down here all the way. They start getting boring right there at that same level. 48,800 is where you're seeing kind of the boringness come in. That was I don't know what just happened to T-Shroom. I saw your face get really scared, and then
I totally botched getting out of the way. I did so many bad things there, but
you weren't in the way. You're fine. We're talking about this little bunch right here. It gets more interesting, of course, when you get down to 46, and then of course there still is some even down towards 41, all the way down to about 41,000, almost on the dot. So, not saying we have to drop that far. Again, we're just talking about. We're seeing 53. We discussed that in depth here on this channel as being a level to watch for resistance. And at the moment, we are seeing some signs that could hold up at least for the next little bit. But again, I told you we're going to take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum this morning, let's turn off these indicators for just a second. Let's focus on the charts. Ethereum did come all the way up here on the 4-hour chart, and it touched over $3,000 this morning. And again, I give you guys a bullish price prediction because even if things cool off here just a little bit more in the next couple of days, there are some levels up above us that are more exciting. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You got to go watch the video if you want to see what that is. What's impressive, though, is Ethereum. Again, with everything else kind of cooling off, I mean, yeah, we had a little bit of cool off, but Ethereum quickly has risen back up here and is once again flirting with 3,000. That just tells you how strong and how bullish Ethereum is right now. Bitcoin's got some work to do to get back up to where it touched this morning, but Ethereum's already back there. We could even potentially see it recapture 3,000 during the rest of this live stream. Could be interesting. Let's see what we have going on here. 1 hour, 4 hour. Let's see. We're currently under a sell, but again, we're taking out the stop losses here, so that's not necessarily one that is too necessarily accurate. I can see it pop up again, set a little bit higher high here, and you do see, if we turn this off, a little bit of a trend starting to develop here. So let's keep an eye on, can Ethereum break this little trend line going up to the upside since, I gotta fix this just a little bit, there we go. Can it break this trend line heading up since this peak back here on February 19th yesterday? This is the hourly chart. If it breaks that, gets super bullish, but that's another resistance level to keep an eye on. Now, the one I was trading earlier, and at one point, I think I ended up getting stopped out, and I think I only, by the time the fees were, I pretty much took my stop loss to my entry point. So I got stopped out, made no money, but Cardano had a nice little fall. Nice little fall in price action. I took advantage of it. And at one point, my trade, I was sitting really nice. I could have taken profit for probably about $200, but I was greedy. I was watching an order block down here at 57 cents. Oof. But with this most recent touch here, again, the reason why I didn't notice it at first is because sometimes when you just have two touches, that's not necessarily too strong of a trend. We have just confirmed on Cardano 3 touches of a rising trading channel. So this is going to be something to absolutely keep an eye on, what we will be looking for a strong move. Again, there is serious reason to believe we could be heading down, especially when we come to these larger time frames. We are seeing signs, just like on Bitcoin, we're seeing signs of vulnerability here on Cardano that we could be falling. We do have a take profit a little bit above us, but those time frames, we're seeing more bearishness. There was a bearish call, one of my favorite trading strategies, you get a bearish call earlier. Would have been a good time to enter. And again, I just got a little too greedy with my take profit. Ended up breaking even there. So keep an eye on Cardano.
Tim,
look for a potential break below this yellow line as the next entry for a short. What's your thought there?
Before you go on, what is your thought for how to prevent that greed next time?
Don't be greedy. I mean, that's
brilliant.
It's as simple as is. Take your profit. I mean, because my level I was looking for, I probably would have ended with about $500 of profit. I wanted to make the $500 of profit. I moved my stop loss after being, up almost $200. I moved it to the entry point so I wouldn't lose money. I think I lost whatever the entry fees and exit fees are. I do believe that. Does that jingle mean that Rob is here?
He is. I'm going to make some adjustments with the software so we can carry on. But
ultimately, sometimes you gamble and you get a little greedy and it pays off and you win big, and other times you don't. And so it's one of those things. I think in hindsight, maybe what I potentially even do is take half. Maybe I take $100 and I leave half of the position still in play with a stop loss at break even. In that case, boom, I make $100. That's a couple different strategies you can use, but ultimately you win some, you lose some, you move on. As long as you're winning more than you're losing, you're a profitable trader. And I still am in that camp. So I'm feeling good and happy about the trades so far.
Very nice. Well, do you have any more trades that you're looking at?
No, I mean, as a whole right now, everything is rallying. But like I said, we talked about on Bitcoin. I would not be shorting Ethereum right now. A lot of momentum going into Ethereum, but most other coins are showing signs of vulnerability. Before Rob comes on, let's just take a look here. I won't even need to use Lux ALGO. Shout out to Lux ALGO, of course, partner of the channel. But you're going to see here more recently on the hourly chart, a lot of altcoins breaking structure. So again, strong support level right here, 61.50 give or take. We lost that on Cardano. Now we're back above it, but we lost it. We lost that structure. Over on Solana, we, of course, are in a bearish trend right now with lower highs, lower lows. Same thing with Chainlink. Same thing with AVAX. The only coin I don't see making a move like that is which one? Ethereum. Ethereum is in a bullish trend right now. You can even make, I'm going to make a lot of people happy right now. You know what else is not necessarily losing momentum? XRP. little bit of a lower high right here, but the most low, it did not break a new low, serious low since back here on February 17th. So you can make the case that XRP actually might look a little bullish right now.
Yeah.
Well,
they've got a somewhat bullish headline. In my opinion, it shouldn't really affect Ripple, but there is
bullish headlines.
There is some kind of a bullish headline. Oh man. All right. Well, I think we're ready to bring on the man himself. I'm not exactly sure.
And the myth, the legend, is Rob in?
Rob, how we doing today, my man?
Hola!
Hola. Good to see you.
What's going on, dude? I love the couch. Very nice and comfortable.
Yeah, you know.
We need to get couches.
It's a great angle.
Your room looks like you could have a couch each room.
Yeah, definitely. I might get one buy these Bitcoins over here on the wall.
Rob, how is Las Vegas treating you today?
Oh man, Vegas is rainy today. It's we've been like through monsoon weather. It's just got my car detailed a day ago, so I'm nice and excited to have that all get spotted up. So
what coins did you take profit on to get your car detailed?
Oh man, I haven't sold anything. This is accumulation time. Honestly, usually if I sell, I just move it over to one of my. You move it over to stables, and then usually I'm in the process. Well, normally what happens is I'm researching something for the show, and I'm like, man, this is a monster. This is great. Like I don't know why I don't have a position on it. Like I just FOMO'd into Avalanche this morning, and I went through this deep rabbit hole where I was just researching Avalanche. I'm like, why is there not more Avalanche buzz? And so that was my most recent buy as well. So
very cool,
so I'm not selling, but I do exit and go into stables, and then from there I just keep money on the sideline. So.
I think that's a great segue into our first. We have a couple of things we want to talk about with you. First of all, thank you so much for coming on and being here with us, Rob. If you guys do not know who Rob is, which I would be surprised if you do not, he is, of course, one of the duo from Sin City Crypto. I would
got the other one here. Like, where's old David?
Hey, there's David. What's up, man? A lot of times when you give compliments to other channels, you do things like one of the such channels. But I don't know if there's a channel growing faster than Sin City Crypto right now. You guys are just going berserk. You guys are doing it right. I remember when I first heard of you guys back in 2021, I think, at a conference. You guys were you just starting out in 2021?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that was right when we were just kind of setting up shop.
No, I remember there was a buzz, and it was like there was this. I don't remember who told me. They're like, you got to meet these guys from Sin City Crypto, these young guys, but they're newer, but they're hungry. They're asking everyone for interviews. And I knew back then. I knew back in 2021. I was like, these guys have the work ethic to go big, and it's a grind. But you guys all the hard work is paying off. So congratulations to you guys. I'll hopefully we catch some of that magic soon.
You guys are doing pretty good too, man. I see a lot of live viewers. I sent the community over. I don't know if they showed up or not, but we were bugging our guy because right when we end, you guys are live. So told everybody to get up.
Perfect little transition. Well, let's go and transition conversation. Let's get into the main topic I want to talk to you about. You said you're accumulating right now. Well, T-Shrew and I, when we're doing research, a lot of opinion articles today. And one of the top ones that I found, just a bunch of people giving opinions on the top 5, the top 7, or the top 6 coins that they need to be accumulating right now. And I thought, a lot of times these articles, they have some paid shills in there. It's, they get paid to promote a coin, so they have to do like 6 or 7 other coins to get in there. But I'm interested from Rob himself, what coins are you saying? I heard you say AVAX. What else is on your top list to be accumulating right now during this? I mean, we're kind of already in the bull market. We're going up, up, and up. But it's still time to be accumulating. What you looking at?
All right, so I got my laptop here, so that way I can. Okay, so there's a lot going on the horizon. Here's the thing: I like to. You want to diversify, but you don't want to diversify into things that aren't really trending or might not catch steam, right? I think there's a lot of assumption that every single altcoin, if it rallied last bull market, then if every altcoin rallied last bull market, it's going to happen this bull market. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, that's not true.
You know, are you? I don't have a screen share here, but I asked one of you guys if you could
Yeah.
on CoinMarketCap at the on one of the drop downs, you can go to cryptocurrencies, and you can go look at historical snapshots.
Yep.
So if you look at historical snapshots, you go to 2018, right? You go to 2018. Just pick any time in January or February 2018. Any of these
All right.
historical snapshots,
Let's do
and then
February
look at
4th.
February 4th. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the same thing so we can take a look here. So you got February 4th. Now look at this. So this is so if you think that, and the prices are there in the middle as well. So
Mhm.
if you assume that, well, hey, 5 years from now, this is 6 years ago. 6 years ago, a lot of these tokens, we all assumed that, hey, within 6 years it's going to be massive gain. So you got Bitcoin at $8,000, Ethereum at $800. So you would have got a nice healthy return on both of those on
Oh, heck
Bitcoin
yeah.
and ETH. But
Oh, yeah.
now let's go down the list. Number three, XRP at 81 cents. You'd be a negative on that.
You are at a
Bitcoin
loss.
Cash, you'd be negative. You'd be a negative on that. You'd be up slightly on Cardano, but you would have been
Yep.
massively outperformed by Bitcoin and ETH.
Uh-huh.
Litecoin, you'd be down on that. And then Neo, that's dead. Stellar, you'd be down on that price. EOS dead. NEM dead. IOTA dead. Dash dead. Monero dying.
Trying, yeah.
Tron, you would have got a 2x. Lisk dead. Tether, well, that we know that. But
Hopefully it's not, yeah.
VChain, you would
What's
be down on.
okay.
And then you got ETH Classic, you'd be down on that as well. So basically, if you would have been holding any altcoins in the top 20 outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, you would have wasted 6 years. And so
True.
if you think that just blindly investing in all altcoin A through Z is going to yield you returns guaranteed going into a bull market, you're mistaking. I would generate caution, and I would try to identify which projects are likely to stand the test of time. And so the longest answer ever, which projects am I looking at? Cardano, XRP, I think the ones that have been here the longest. Ethereum is still my top pick when it comes to altcoins. You have the final deadline when it comes to the ETF listing for ETH coming in May. Now,
Mhm.
a couple
Yep.
things. The largest wallet behind Satoshi for Bitcoin was Grayscale prior to the ETF, and I think it still might be there. I haven't checked it lately, but a massive amount of holding. Largest active wallet for Bitcoin was Grayscale. The ETF
Yes.
went live. There was a discrepancy on the market price and the discount slash premium that you were getting on Grayscale. They needed to realize the price, sell to get their market in order, and then when they sold to get the discount and premium back to market price. That's what we saw for all the selling pressure from Grayscale. Anyways, ETH, there is a Grayscale ETF as well for Ethereum.
There is.
Now, but this is it is, I think it's like 2% or 0.2%. A very small fraction of the Ethereum holding, as far as percentage of the total ETH network,
Mhm.
it pales into comparison to the holding that Bitcoin had. And
Right.
so right now, I think there's about a 20% discount buying ETH, so that's always another side conversation there.
Yeah.
You can buy Ethereum now at a 20% discount, hold it, and wait for the ETF to convert over, and then realize a 20% gain. That's a side note there, but I don't really like to pick up my crypto through those investment vehicles. I like to hold the underlying asset. But for those of you that play in the stock world, that's something to think about. But
Mhm.
for Ethereum, you have the Dankun upgrade coming through you with EIP 4744. That's going
Yep.
to make not only Ethereum more scalable with higher transactions, cheaper gas fees, but
Yep.
you also couple that with the last EIP upgrade that gave a deflationary mechanism to Ethereum. So you have deflationary Ethereum, which becomes more deflationary with transactions and use case and utility. You have the ETF coming. You have Grayscale, which you're probably not going to get that big sell pressure, but you're also going to get this ton of influx of liquidity coming into the markets. And then on top of that, it's the go-to layer for DeFi, NFTs. It has the most total value locked. We always look at total value locked. We're like, hey man, but there's a massive amount of money in the Ethereum ecosystem. I think it's easily overlooked. Don't forget that Ethereum went from $100 up to 4,000, over 4,000 from the bottom to the top of the last bull market cycle. I have been calling for ETH at 20K. I think it's realistic. And if you look at, or if you take into consideration the snapshot we looked at right at the beginning of this conversation, it is the bedrock for a portfolio, in my opinion. A lot of upside. You know it's going to be around next bull market cycle. And so with the potential to outpace Bitcoin, which I think it will do, and I think it's going to have a lot more upside. And not to mention, I mean, it's also got a lot going on. You had the Stark net.
Wow.
The ZK rollups just went. The airdrop just came out today. Then obviously there's the Lido with all the liquid stake and tons of total value locked up there. Number one total value locked is Lido, and
Yep.
so I mean the list goes on and on. I mean there's a lot of competition there, but until they knock ETH off of that pedestal, which I think is at least one cycle away, more than one cycle away, I just can't fade Ethereum, man. I really can't. And then after that, I like Avalanche, Cardano.
Rob, real quick, check this out. It's actually cool that we picked the February 4th time, like going into the time machine for CoinMarketCap, because Chainlink is level 104 versus. Oh, you can't see it. So let me scroll up a little bit. There you go, 104. So nowhere near the top 20.
Look at the price. Look at the price of Chainlink.
40 cents. 40 cents.
43 cents. Insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And so when I really like the way you said Ethereum is a good kind of a foundation for a portfolio. I really like that. The one that I would add to that, as an altcoin, obviously Bitcoin would be the main one, but I think we're talking about altcoins. I think Chainlink would be up there for me, in terms of altcoins as a good foundation.
And I think when you talk about Bitcoin, you just rotate in and out. So the markets themselves rotate in and out of Bitcoin with alts, right? And so during a bull market, you have a massive surge of liquidity that comes into the crypto markets. And it first comes into Bitcoin, and then people take profits, and then the altcoins. That's why the altcoins always run after Bitcoin's price rally. But this happens on a macro sense as well. And so, during a bull market, you want to hold alts, or hold alts towards the beginning of a bull market, and then once a bear market comes around.
Uh-oh. I think we might have lost him. I will let you know when he comes back up. I think his laptop or
You back?
Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a telemarketer call me, but
should have.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Could have been a good opportunity.
But yeah, so you're gonna get in a bear market, you're going from alts. Basically, you're liquidating all the crap projects. You're liquidating all the leverage positions. You're liquidating all of the scared money, and then that, in a sense, circles back to Bitcoin. We see it through the Bitcoin dominance. And so, for me, I look at it in waves. And right now, we're in this wave where I want out of Bitcoin, right? I will get out of Bitcoin. I will sell my Bitcoin. And then at that point, I will scale into stronger projects. And so majority of it's going to go into Ethereum, and then smaller alts at a smaller percentage.
Rob, it's the circle of crypto life. The money flows into Bitcoin, and it goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and then goes to Ethereum to other blue chip altcoins, then alt chips, then it goes down to the memes and the small caps, and then it goes into Tether and stable coins and waits for Bitcoin to get ready again, then goes back into Bitcoin. We start the cycle all over again. And there's many cycles within the markets, but as a whole, if you just look at the money flow and you look at bull markets, bear markets, that's the grand circle of life with money.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah.
Every day we open up this chart, right, which we look at the price charts, but this is such a helpful tool. And I know you guys use it all the time. What it does is it really helps you see kind of which altcoins are getting that heavy rotation every day. And so some days, you'll see like a coin like Lido, it's just cruising along, up 2% one day, down 4% the next, up 6%. But then all of a sudden, it will be what, Monero is today. Can't see it behind Tim. I'll pull it out. Or Stark, down 25%. It just has this explosion of rotation in or out. And so I like the crypto bubbles. They're a great way to kind of analyze, which coins are getting that rotation in from Bitcoin or out into Bitcoin. So I love it, and I love to track the different seasons for sure. Love the seasons.
Yeah, I want to before we move on to the next topic, I want to create some good TV here with Rob.
Let's do it.
I think the people are going to love this part. It's going to be fun.
I think I know what's coming.
I think you know exactly what's coming. I think the audience knows what's coming. I think the only person who doesn't know what's coming is Rob because he doesn't know what he's done. You said one of the coins that you're looking to put a lot of money into right now is XRP. So I do not hate XRP, although some people think I do. I have just lost some confidence in its future, and I'll explain why, but I think it'd be good to have a conversation with you. What is causing you still to put XRP as, you kind of give a small list. I know you're more diversified than that, but you kind of gave your big ones. Of course, Ethereum being the bedrock. You talked about Cardano and XRP. I think you agree Chainlink should be in that list as well. Why is XRP one of your bedrock coins? What is keeping you so bullish on it?
Okay, let's see. It's at the top of the sector that it's in, right? And so for me, there's obviously sectors in crypto. They have store of value, Bitcoin's at the top, right? You have stacks coming in, it's offering competition. But at the end of the day, if you had to pick one horse, you going Bitcoin or you going stack, or you going I meant to say Caspa. Caspa is the store of value. So you have Bitcoin, you have Caspa, right? They're two proof of work, store of value. Now Caspa is supposed to expand over to smart contracts, but that isn't on the immediate horizon. So I look at Caspa's store of value. So you have store of value in one category, and with that, Bitcoin leads the way. Then you have layer one smart contract. Ethereum is my go-to pick there. And then you have Oracle services. You have Chainlink there at the top. Then you have remittance, money and money transfers globally. Remittance, central bank digital currencies. You have banking, just infrastructure, the payment rails, and that's what's that's what XRP is king of, right? They're the top of that sector. I mean, you have Stellar Lumens. There's a few others in that space as well, further down the list. But they're the king of that sector. So I mean, if you're a fan of Chainlink, you're probably because it's the leader of oracles. If you're a fan of Bitcoin, it's because it's the best store of value. If you're a fan of Ethereum, it's probably because they have the best smart contracts. So that's just the way I look at it. And the same thing, you go into gaming, like you could say Avalanche or Gala, whichever horse you're on that one. But it's at the top of its category. And then you might say, well, they have all this legal issues, but of course they do. It's trying to replace the banking system, right? And they're going against the politicians, Congress, U.S. government, the IMF, all of the global monetary political players out here are funded by the banks. They're funded by corporations, central banks printing money, and crypto goes directly against that. Now, does Bitcoin go directly against it? In a way, yes. But you have one sector that is literally coming for the jugular, and it's remittance, it's payments, it's cross-border payments, and that's what XRP and Ripple does. And of course they're going to get sued. Of course there's going to be a massive hesitancy from lawmakers. And so that's really the only downside. Well, I mean, that's the big downside. They do have some token. There is some concerns on the token as far as who holds what. There's some inflation there. There's also the fact that you don't need the token to use RippleNet. So you can make a lot of cases against it, but it's still king.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll say. I don't disagree with anything that you just said. I want to make sure it's clear. I think you're right. I think they are the number one in their field. I think that they have a future. I mean, I've said this before. I don't know if you caught it. I caught a lot of anger from the XRP army here a couple of weeks ago when I made a video that said why I'm selling some of my XRP. And the reason why, let me give a short story and then I'll explain to it. I was very bullish in XRP. Very, very bullish. I was one of the people. I'm not a 589 XRPer. That's just mathematically just not doable anytime soon. Unless you see a collapse of the US dollar, that's just not doable. But I was a believer in a potentially $20 to $30 XRP. So massively bullish. I'm thinking I have a significant portion of my portfolio in XRP. It's going to make a lot of money, right? I have taken a lot of my supply of XRP and moved into other things like Chainlink, like AVAX, like others. I still have a small bag, but I have some concerns. And even the things that you mentioned, there's a couple of things that I'm concerned about. A, I don't think that XRP was prepared for Chainlink. It's not a direct competitor, but there are aspects that Chainlink is now going to solve for that XRP could have been the front runner on, and XRP will not be needed for that anymore. That's my first reason. The second reason was of all the coins right now that could potentially be labeled as securities, XRP is the one coin that we actually have some confirmation XRP is not a security, and yet the price continues to underperform. When we're talking about $20, I don't think $20 is doable. I think we see new all-time highs. I think we potentially get somewhere between $5 to $10 in XRP, but there's a couple things stifling the price. I think Chainlink will stifle the price. I think more institutional money will flow into Chainlink than XRP. But then you also have the problem of, even though they're delaying it right now, I do believe there will be a Ripple IPO someday. And so I love the company Ripple and what they're doing. I don't love the fact that they're going to be probably the ones building the CBDCs, but somebody's going to do it. It is what it is. I'm not going to hold that against XRP. What I will hold against XRP or Ripple is that when they file for an IPO and they have stock options and they have a board, they're going to have to keep that board happy. And what is one of the things that has been on, you mentioned it, what is one of the monkeys on the backs of XRP that the haters like to remind everyone? It's like, well, if you're looking at who's holding tokens, Ripple is still holding a large amount of tokens that if they ever decided to dump them, that could really hurt the price of XRP, right? But up to this point, they've had no incentive to dump those coins. The minute they have an IPO, and they have stock that they have to keep happy, and they have board members they have to keep happy, the minute that IPO or the price of the stock starts to drop, they're incentivized to sell XRP, because here's the cool thing about Ripple and XRP. For them to be that new system of the banking system, they don't need the price of XRP to be at $10. They can be just as effective if that price is at 50 cents as they would if it was at $100. So as long as it's still in existence, they can do their transaction. They're actually in a spot where they could be incentivized to pump their stock by selling off their token supply. And there's no max supply on XRP at this point, so they could keep just creating it. I'm not saying they're going to, but you start to go down this rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, there's a way that XRP could borderline not be an actual stable coin, but it doesn't need the price to be significantly high for it to be effective. They could print it to oblivion, use it to continue to pump the Ripple IPO, and that concerns me. I think that stifles the price. What are your thoughts about that? And then we'll move on from this topic. We have a couple other things we want to talk about.
So the stocks, if they were to issue, if they were to go public, the stocks would be a percentage or a breakdown of the company's valuation, and the company's valuation would be the company's entirety, Ripple, and so there's more valuation than just the token, right? And So
True. Yep.
you could there be a correlation? Could you raise capital for your company and increase its valuation? I mean, the valuation of the company comes from the tokens as well. So at the end of the day, if you sell the token to generate capital, you're essentially selling some of the company's value, right? And so if I have a company and let's just say I have a car company, say it's Tesla, they're going to go public. I don't need to sell my Tesla cars. I mean, I don't need to sell all of my plants and employees and cars and assets. It all kind of comes with it, right? And so you don't need to sell your XRP to issue stocks. Your stocks are a valuation of the company, and then those just dispersed in how you sell those. So I just think the correlation is distant, and I do think that it is a concern, but there's not much incentive for XRP to dump their own token or Ripple Labs to dump their own token, crash the price, because their stocks would also probably be correlated to the price of XRP, right? I mean, we see MicroStrategy, their stock goes down when Bitcoin's price goes down, and conversely, the opposite happens. So I feel like Ripple would like to keep price stability on both their IPO and in doing so, they would probably try to mitigate volatility by not selling. Also, they're going to generate a ton of new capital going public.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
Getting another robocall.
Freaking telemarketers these days, just interrupting some of the
kind of funny.
interviews. Yeah,
I'm popular. I'm popular today, man. And so,
hilarious.
yeah, it's.
That's a
I
fair
just think-
argument, Rob. I think that's a fair argument that you're making. But
So
I
there's
still
that.
am. Yeah, go ahead.
But just on okay, so back to that historical the historical chart that we had. What was number 3 on there? What was number 3?
Let me go back.
The
XRP.
XRP is number 3, right? And if you would go back another 3 weeks, I think it is, or maybe a month, you'll see that XRP actually flipped Ethereum. XRP was number 2, and this is obviously in a time where Ethereum didn't have operating smart contracts, so it's a different game now. But it just shows you the potential where it is, and XRP is currently sitting at a $30 billion market cap. For it to get back into third place, put it somewhere between 100 and 300 billion dollars for it to be in third place. And so, in a growing crypto ecosystem where the entire tide will rise and all boats will rise with it, I could see a scenario where the SEC and the court case with Ripple comes to an end. It's coming to an end this year. It's not. Okay. So the discovery deadline is in 2 days. So in 2 days, the discovery deadline is over, and the impending court case should be done within the next few months. And there's no like concrete dates here, but it's going to be done this year. And so what'll happen is, as you mentioned, XRP has already been kind of clarified as not a security, but once the court case is over, then it gets the regulatory stamp of approval, right? Whether they pay a fine or whatever it is, Ripple's done. You can't sue them for the same thing again. So that court case is over, and the XRP token, not a security, it pretty much has the green light to go forward into to be an ETF, right? And Brad Garlinghouse was on Bloomberg TV this morning, discussing that he would welcome an ETF for XRP. And so my estimates is this: court case settles this year, price rallies, ETF listing, going into a bull market, leader of its own category. And you know what? If it turns into a publicly traded company, I think that's just all the more bullish scenario for XRP. Do I think it might get to $5? I don't know if it'll get quite that high, but it's been around for a while, man. I like projects that have staying power. So,
the truth is, it's funny because we're saying different things, but I think you and I are in similar boats when it comes to price action for XRP. So I think we're actually on the same side there. Let's transition though. Let's get into some other topics, T-Shroom, because we have some other stories.
Yeesh.
We have a clip to react to from Michael Saylor on some other things. But why don't you go ahead and take over, T-Shroom?
You're never gonna believe this clip, guys. Watch this.
Existing holdings, as I mentioned in the intro, now worth around $10 billion. You have paper gains of about 70% or so, which a lot of people would like to see that sort of return. At any point, would you sell? When would it make sense to take profits there?
Well, I've famously said I'm going to be buying the top forever. Bitcoin is the exit strategy. It is the strongest asset. So what we see right now is that Bitcoin has just emerged as a $1 trillion asset class. And it's alongside names like Apple and Google and Microsoft. But the difference between Bitcoin and the Magnificent Seven is Bitcoin's an asset class. It's not a company. There's not enough room in the capital structure of those companies to hold $10 trillion or $100 trillion worth of capital. So Bitcoin's competing against gold, which is 10x what it is right now. It's competing against the S&P index. It's competing against real estate, $100 trillion plus asset class as a store of value. So we believe capital is going to keep flowing from those asset classes into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is technically superior to those asset classes. And that being the case, there's just no reason to sell the winner to buy the losers.
Mic drop, baby. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. The OG.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that clip, Rob?
I mean, not surprised. This is the mascot for Bitcoin is Michael Saylor. He's approaching was it a 1% of the total, or MicroStrategy is approaching 1% of total Bitcoin that will ever be. So
yeah,
there's going to be other companies that take notice, right? And so right now it looks like they're making a smart play, right? Their average buy is at $31,000. It won't be too long before they 2x their Bitcoin holdings as far as their average price or average price buy. And if you look at a scenario when eventually we agree that Bitcoin will get to $1 million, right? Now, whether the time horizon is 10 years or 8 years
before the halving,
or 20 years, or in 3 months. At some point, it'll get to $1 million, and at that point, for the amount that they hold, I think there'll be a 20. The Bitcoin alone will be worth $200 billion. I think it is. So they're going to look like the smartest people in the room.
Yeah,
so they're going to look like the smartest. They're going to look like the smartest people in the room, and with companies mimicking, copying, and seeing what others do well. I think that when Bitcoin gets to new all-time highs, when Bitcoin crosses 100,000, there's always going to be a discussion on main news television here on CNBC and Fox News. When Bitcoin crosses 70K, Michael Saylor's going to be there. They're going to be touting his horn. They're going to be like, look how your average buy is at 30,000, and in doing so, other companies are going to say like, hey, we should get a position on this. And no longer what MicroStrategy does is they buy and hold the asset themselves, right? And it's very easy for, and that can be complicated, but now this position with the ETFs, it's a walk in the park for any company just to simply get a position on Bitcoin through the ETFs. So I think it's going to be, hey, this company's killing it. Let's follow along. Even if it's 1 out of every 1,000 companies here in the U.S., there's going to be that'll be a massive amount of money. So I think that's what's happening with MicroStrategy.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant plan when you're playing with money at that level. I mean, some people are going to say, "Oh, doesn't he need to sell, or he'll never have wealth?" No, when you have that large of a pot, that man can get a loan anywhere. He can get a loan for about as much money as he wants. He then knows, of course, with this payment structure, he's done the math. He's like, my annual gains I'm going to make on my Bitcoin holding, even when I calculate in the bear markets, I will never lose money. I can just keep making loans. I can keep investing it as I need to pay off those debts as they come. It would take the collapse of Bitcoin for it all fall apart for them, and I don't think any of us are predicting that.
Yep. There's some interesting lessons to learn with MicroStrategy share. We talked about XRP. Don't worry, we're not talking about more XRP. But you could potentially predict what some of the behaviors and decisions they may make over at Ripple if they were to IPO based on how MicroStrategies operates. Because it's very interesting as Bitcoin becomes a bigger and bigger part of that company, how they buy back shares, how they issue new shares. That strategy is going to could become a very big deal. And the market will be paying attention because it's unprecedented for an asset on your balance sheet to just start skyrocketing. That's going to be really, really interesting. Well, speaking of bullish news, we got a very, very crazy headline today, and I was surprised to see it. That's this. Vanguard will relent and offer Bitcoin ETFs over time. Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst Eric Bilconis has said this. Let's read a little bit of the detail. Vanguard's decision to bar trading in new spot coin ETFs on its platform is on brand for the firm, but a position that we think may soften in the coming years as it looks to grow the advisory business. The goal of the wealth management as second engine to its business fund will likely push Vanguard to offer more alternative assets. And then it goes on to talk about how it was, not part of the founder played a big role. The founder and his principles and kind of values around investing is still very present in the DNA of the company, and that he would not ever buy Bitcoin because he was on record saying avoid Bitcoin like the plague. So he's in kind of in that Warren Buffett camp where you can't really blame him too much because he's obviously a wildly successful investor. He's just getting something wrong here. We just talked about Michael Saylor. You can kind of contrast that to the founder of Vanguard, Warren Buffett. These are going to be some of the best investors in the world. If Bitcoin ends up going higher, Michael Saylor will be probably the best investor ever to walk the earth. If that bet plays out the way that I think it will. But one more reference here. These are the top asset managers in the world. And you've probably seen this list before. It says BlackRock is number one, right? And then Vanguard, and then Fidelity. Right? So Fidelity, BlackRock, Team Bitcoin ETF. Vanguard, up until now, has been Team not so much. We don't like the Bitcoin ETF, and we had BITO, but we're going to go ahead and phase that out too. But now, as of today, with this headline, right, of Vanguard kind of softening their tone, not in the short term, but in the mid to long term, this could be very, very big because now there's not so much of a divide on Wall Street. If there was kind of a tie between Vanguard and Gary Gensler, and Vanguard and the Treasury Department and Biden, that could be a thaw that actually has rippling effects and not just the stock price, but also adoption and regulatory clarity as well. So, am I reading too much into this, Rob? What do you think about this headline? It seems pretty big to me.
I don't think so, man. Because the thing is that they're saying that they're going to soften their stance over the course of years. So, are they perhaps noticing that they're losing clientele and that there's clients that they service that are going to competitors because they offer a product that the competitor offers a product that they don't? I think that's real. Now, how big is the number? How big is the percentage? How much damage did they take from this? And the PR hit, there's been a lot of pushback on cancel or Vanguard or close your account or whatever it is. And so the crypto community is taking a hardline stance against Vanguard, which I think is kind of surprising because they don't offer any gold ETFs either. And so it's not outside of their practice anyways. You don't have, as a market provider, you don't need to have every asset available in your basket, right? And so there are, just like in a free market, there are, specialty stores that, like you go to Whole Foods, you're going to get more of organic based products. You're not going to get a bunch of the crap, or Whole Foods themselves decides what they're going to stock on the shelves. And then you can go to Walmart. They pretty much have everything there,
Sure.
And so it just depends on what you're looking for as a consumer. With that said, Vanguard probably is also noticing, even with the pushback, Vanguard is probably noticing that there is a giant amount of money flowing into Bitcoin ETFs, and they might want a piece of that pie, right? And so, if you look at assets under management when it comes to these ETF providers, you got Grayscale. They have over $23 billion worth of Bitcoin. You have BlackRock, they're over $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. You have Fidelity nearing $5 billion worth of Bitcoin at 4. This has been not even a month, man. Not even a month.
It's crazy.
And then you have ARK shares, ARK Invest, they have crossed over 1 billion last week. And then yesterday we had Bitwise as well cross $1 billion worth of Bitcoin under management as well. So now we're at a total of 5 companies, all with $1 billion. And it was not that long ago, it wasn't that long ago we crossed $100 billion in market cap for Bitcoin. I think it was in 2017 we crossed $100 billion worth of market cap valuation. And these guys alone, just between the top 5, you're sitting at about $40 billion worth of Bitcoin between the top 5 ETF providers or custodials agents. And so put that into perspective, how much money is there. And on top of that, the volume on these things is speeding up. I mean, we had every day this week we've been over $1.5 billion worth of volume when it comes to these ETFs, over $2 billion worth of volumes on multiple days. And so the volume equates to transactions, which equates to transaction fees, which equates to profit when it comes to these ETF holders.
Yeah.
Now they're not making money on people buying and holding an ETF for 20 years. We know that the fee percentage on the holdings is pretty low, negligible. I think the average is 0.2%. So they're making their money. They're making their money on these fees. And so the fees are getting in and out, buying and selling. And so $2 billion worth of daily volume on these products, that's where the money's being made. And Vanguard makes a lot of money on their clients getting in and out of different positions. And so it might be something that they're looking at.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hear what you're saying, that they're just not, that's not part of their DNA, right? Their founding principles are not even gold, right? They're not into holding assets that appreciate over time. They're into holding assets that spin off a return, a revenue. Right. And you can't blame them. That's one excellent way to invest and become the second largest AUM wealth manager in the world. Right. So it works. Don't break it if it ain't fixed. Something like that. But you have to, but at some point you do have to zoom out, in my opinion, and say, but this is the best asset in the world. And this is more than just, a slight update in gold store of value. This is something else. And, I don't expect them to kind of flip this switch overnight. But I think you make some excellent points there, and there's a lot of really good insight for sure.
I think something to be aware of is PR. I mean, companies doing PR all the time. They came out very boisterous in a way that I don't think that they were prepared. I think they knew they would make the crypto faithful upset, but I think they made a lot more people than they thought would be upset. And so, is this potentially a PR just walk back? Like they have no plan to commit to crypto, but they're like, all right, maybe we shouldn't have been so vocally anti-crypto. We're not ready to be Elizabeth Warren or anything. We need to walk this back here a little bit. And,
well, here's what it's not. Here's what it's clearly not. It's not, haha, we were right, Bitcoin sucks. They can't say that. They're not saying that. What they're saying is that eventually we'll cool down on this.
Well, you always need. I'll say this: there's always, you can always go pick up a paper newspaper somewhere, right? You can always go to the airport or down to
I like this.
I don't even know where the hell you buy a newspaper at anymore, but they're out there. They exist. And so there's a market for it. There's a market for it. There's people that still pick that thing up and use it. And so there's going to be a market for traditional investments. And hey, let's just buy this index fund and layer in some bonds. And hey, we're gonna also pick up some stock options here on this product. And there's a market for that. And there's going to be a small percentage of people that satisfies, in the same way that there's a couple old people out here that still go to the store and buy their newspaper. So
I like it. I like it. I don't know if they want to keep their second place. Vanguard wants to stay second place. World's largest asset manager. They're going to have to step it up, and I think this is just a classic case of the board was too conservative. They are starting to pivot a little bit, but they don't want to spook their clients and make it seem like they were wrong. They're just saying maybe we should reconsider this kind of thaw into the future.
With the newspaper analogy again, man, there was most of them died, but there were a handful of newspaper publications that embraced the digital information technology revolution, and New York Times is a good example that they might have been hesitant at first, but then they came around, started adapting to the needs of the market. And maybe Vanguard will do the same. Maybe they'll adapt their needs to their consumers.
I would hope. I would definitely hope.
Yeah, for sure.
T-Shirt, were there any other topics we wanted to discuss today? Or it's 4:00 now.
There was a
Rob's time. We're probably gonna head out here in a second, but
I'll just jet through one or two headlines, and then we'll get to the factoid really quick. Crypto attorney launches Senate bid against Elizabeth Warren. So this is John Deaton. He's famously an attorney over for Ripple. Maybe you've heard of it. I think we may have mentioned it today on the show. And then also Sam Bankman-Fried, prison photo revealed as FTX founder inmate Paul calls for Joe Biden's pardon. So there's all kinds of craziness going on with this headline. We'll probably cover this a little more tomorrow, but here on the Investing Bros, we love to do a factoid of the day. As of 2020, the city of Las Vegas had what population? Was it A, 600,000, B, 491,000, C, 1 million, or was it D, 800,000?
I'll go.
First of all, is that loss? The elf, I think, misspelled loss.
Did you put Las Vegas?
Las Vegas.
Los
Angeles.
So this answer would vary off of if it's the Clark County, so the metropolitan area, or if it's just the city limits of Las Vegas. But if it's the city limits, I know it's on the lower bound, so I would say probably.
Really?
You're not Googling it, are you?
No, I'm thinking. I would say 600 would probably be the city of Las Vegas.
All right, we'll lock you in there, Timmy. What you think?
Yeah,
it's not the county. It's just the city. I can assure you.
I don't know. I would have thought there was more than 1 million, and the fact there's only one answer over 1 million. I never really like going with the highest answer. I'm gonna. He seems. I'm just gonna undercut. I'm gonna go 491. He seems to think there's not that many people. So let's go low. 491.
I love it. Well,
to be a diverse person.
He knows his city, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he does.
You gotta love it. Here go Las Vegas Wikipedia. Now remember, this is as of 2020, so there is that. But you still guessed it right. The city of Las Vegas, 641,000 beautiful people. None of them degenerate gamblers or alcoholics at all, which is excellent to know.
No. Do people drink here?
I don't know.
When are you guys coming out of Vegas?
Dude, we need to go out there. I've never been west of Colorado, but even that, if you start to head south, I've never been west of Texas. So I need to make a trip out west. Maybe we should make a trip out west. T-Shroom, do a fan. I know we have people out in California. Do a fan meetup. We could connect with Sin City, connect with some other creators out there. Maybe
this
Piper
is a cheap
too.
city. It's a cheap trip. A lot of planes fly in Vegas. So you can fly in for like less than $200, and then spend a weekend, get a cheap hotel. You can stay at my house. I got a spare bed.
Hey, look at that.
David always offers my house out.
What a good guy.
I love it.
Without my permission, yeah.
So. I always offer up T-Shroom's money.
That's right. I've got so much of it. We had a quote of the day before you hopped on. I wonder what your thoughts are on this. Las Vegas is the only place I know where money really talks, and it says goodbye. That was Frank Sinatra. Rob, how's that one make you feel?
Makes sense. That's I'll tell you what, man, a gambling addiction, that thing is real out here, man. There's a lot of people, like, it's definitely not talked about as much as you would think. It's a condition that affects more people than you think it does. And then we're living in Vegas, so you can see it firsthand. So,
well, we've got the Sin City YouTube and Twitter links down in the description of this video. You can go find them. And more than likely, you probably already know about them because they are all the rage when it comes to crypto news and analysis. Find them over here at Sin City Crypto over on YouTube and, of course, on X, formerly Twitter. You're gonna love them.
Well, Rob, you didn't have my co-host, because I know I ramble. He always cuts me off and tells me to shut up. And
ramble?
So, yeah, man, I can talk for 4 hours, bro.
We don't know about that. We share time equally at all times on this channel. We never ever ramble.
Never.
So
yeah, we've never rambled.
Never lie. We never lie. Never.
We never gamble. So, a lot of things.
Rob, thank you so much for coming on. Like T-Shroom said, guys, go follow him on Twitter. Go follow them on YouTube. Cannot wait to have them on again. We should do in the future. Let's do one, all four of us. I mean, I watched your guys' banter. T-Shroom and I have our own banter. If the four of us get in a room, I'm sure we could come up with some great debates and some great topics. But with that said, though, that's all we have for you guys in today's episode. Thank you for stopping by. On your way out, smash that like button, hit subscribe as well, and we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great day.
Thanks for
trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.